So I believe this is the first time that I do this in a conversation club. But we're going to watch a video first, and then we're going to answer some questions. So pay attention to the video. If you need to take some notes, you can do that as well. And then we will discuss. It is, of course, related to the topic. So it is going to be very important. So let me stop sharing here.
Have you ever wondered why Japan?
Okay. And now this one. If you can't hear the audio, just let me know.
Have you ever wondered why Japan has one of the longest life expectancies in the world? Why their cities are spotless? Why so many people seem calm, focused, and purposeful? It's not genetics. It's not luck. It's habits. Tiny habits that most people overlook. Habits so small they seem almost insignificant, but that's exactly why they work. Today, I'm going to show you 8 tiny Japanese habits that create massive differences in your life. Not in dramatic overnight transformations, but in the kind of deep, lasting change that compounds over years. These aren't complicated rituals. They're not time-consuming practices. They're small, almost effortless actions. But when you do them consistently, they reshape everything. Because in Japan, there's a saying, the nail that sticks out gets hammered down. But there's another side to that philosophy. When everyone moves in harmony, the whole society rises. So let's talk about what that actually looks like in daily life. The first tiny habit is called Kaizen, and it might be the most powerful concept you'll ever learn. Kaizen means continuous improvement, but not the kind where you overhaul your entire life on January 1st and burn out by February. It's the opposite. It's about making improvements so small they're almost invisible. 1% better every day. That's it. In Japanese companies, this philosophy is everywhere. Toyota became one of the most successful car manufacturers in the world because of Kaizen, not by making massive changes, but by encouraging every worker every day to find one tiny thing to improve. A process that could be 1 second faster, a tool that could be placed 2 inches closer, a step that could be eliminated entirely. It sounds insignificant, but when you do that every single day for years, the compound effect is staggering. And this doesn't just apply to factories, it applies to your life. Want to get in shape? Don't commit to the gym for an hour every day. Do one push-up, just one. That's so easy you can't say no. And once you do one, you'll probably do 5, then 10. And before you know it, it's a habit. Want to read more? Don't force yourself to read for an hour. Read 1 page. 1 page is nothing, but 1 page a day is 365 pages a year. That's more than most people read in 5 years. Kaizen removes the friction. It makes improvement invisible until the results become undeniable. Because the goal isn't to transform overnight. The goal is to never stop moving forward. And that brings us to the second tiny habit, Ikigai. Ikigai is your reason for being. It's the thing that makes you wake up in the morning. Not your job, not your responsibilities, but the thing that gives your life meaning. In Okinawa, one of the blue zones where people regularly live past 100, almost everyone can tell you their Ikigai. And researchers believe that sense of purpose is one of the main reasons they live so long. Because here's the thing, when you have a reason to wake up, your body wants to keep going. But when life feels meaningless, your health declines, your energy drops, you age faster. Ikigai isn't about grand ambitions. It's not about changing the world or becoming famous. It can be as simple as tending a garden, teaching a skill, spending time with grandchildren,
creating something with your hands. The key is that it's yours. It's not what society tells you to care about. It's what genuinely makes you feel alive. And here's the framework the Japanese use to find it. Ikigai sits at the intersection of four things: what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs from you, and how you can be paid for it. When you find something that touches all four, that's your Ikigai. And when you live according to that, everything else falls into place. But most people never sit down and ask themselves these questions. They just drift. They do what they're supposed to do, and they wonder why life feels empty. So pause right now and ask yourself, what do I love? What am I good at? What does the world need from me? And how can I support myself doing it? You don't need all the answers today, but if you start asking the questions, the answers will come. The third tiny habit is hara hachibu, and it's one of the simplest ways to live longer. Hara hachibu means eat until you're 80% full, not stuffed, not satisfied, just 80%. In Okinawa, people say this phrase before every meal. It's a reminder, a tiny moment of mindfulness, and it keeps them from overeating. Because here's the problem. Your brain takes about 20 minutes to register that you're full. So if you eat until you feel full, you've already overeaten. You've consumed more than your body needed. And over time, that extra 20% adds up. It leads to weight gain, sluggishness, inflammation, all the things that make you age faster. But if you stop at 80%, you give your body exactly what it needs, nothing more. And that slight calorie restriction has been shown to extend lifespan in almost every species studied. Now, this doesn't mean starving yourself. It means eating slowly, paying attention, putting your fork down between bites, asking yourself, am I actually still hungry or am I just eating because it's there? Most people eat on autopilot. They finish what's on the plate because that's what they're supposed to do, but your plate doesn't know how much your body needs. So the next time you eat, try this. Halfway through your meal, pause, check in. Ask yourself, could I stop here and feel fine? If yes, stop. If not, keep going, but slowly. It's not about restriction, it's about awareness. And that tiny shift in awareness might be the simplest health habit you ever adopt. The fourth tiny habit is Shinrin Yoku, forest bathing. This isn't exercise, it's not hiking, it's simply being in nature, walking slowly, breathing deeply, noticing what's around you. In Japan, doctors actually prescribe this. They'll tell patients to spend time in the forest, not as a metaphor, as medicine. And the science backs it up. When you spend time in nature, your cortisol drops, your blood pressure lowers, your immune system strengthens, even your mood improves. There's something about being surrounded by trees that resets your nervous system, and researchers think it has to do with phytocides. These are compounds that trees release to protect themselves from insects. And when you breathe them in, your body responds. Your stress hormones decrease, your parasympathetic nervous system activates, you shift from fight or flight to rest and digest. But here's the thing, you don't need a forest. You don't need to live in Japan. You just need trees, a park, a trail, even a tree-lined street. The key is to go without distractions. No phone, no podcast, no goal. Just walk, slowly, and pay attention. Notice the light filtering through the leaves, the sound of the wind, the smell of the earth. Let your mind wander. This isn't wasted time. This is recovery. And in a world that's constantly demanding your attention, this tiny practice might be the most important hour of your week. The fifth tiny habit.
Okay, so let me share here. Okay, so we're not going to watch the full video because it's going to take us a while, but we are going to discuss based on that video. Let me go back to the presentation. So as for the warm-up, we have the question, are any of these habits surprising to you? Why or not? You can open your mics, you can raise your hands, but I want to hear you guys.
Hello, teacher.
Hello.
Okay, according to the video, I don't know, I heard echo in my microphone.
Okay, so you couldn't hear the video well?
Okay.
Or see
Now?
the...
Much better now?
No, there's still some echo.
Echo.
Okay, let's go with Jason for now.
Okay, thanks, teacher. There is one, the Harchibu. I don't know how to pronounce that. And it is eat until 80%. I wasn't aware of that, teacher. I'm always okay. I do care about my calories. I do care about carbs and protein, but sometimes it happens to me that I eat and eat, and I feel like I want more food because it's delicious. Sometimes food is delicious, so I repeat the dish and so on. But now that I think about it, like I didn't know my body needed 20 minutes to know that it was full because I eat in like 5 seconds. So that's a cool one. I will try to put it in practice because it's a good one, and it's not only about um health, but also about control, because sometimes we don't control our how much we eat and so on. So yeah, that's a cool one. And the rest of them, I think I knew them, like continuous improvement and so on. I knew them, and some of them I practice them, but this one in particular, I'm gonna practice it more because I had no idea. But yeah.
Okay, so we learned something today. Okay, and maybe following the next question, you guys, how would you connect them to other habits around the world? Maybe habits that you guys already know from your traditions, from your family. Nobody? We have about 20 students here. Somebody needs to know the answer. Jason, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't want to be the only one speaking, but yeah, there is something that they didn't, well, more or less they mentioned, but not as a habit, but in another part. And I would say the social life. I think that's one of the most important things in the world. But how can you connect, for example, this social life with these habits? For example, when you do the shinin jaku, I don't know how to pronounce that, being in nature and so on, maybe you can go with someone, with a friend, with a group, and so on, and that's cool. I used to go jogging with a friend, and well, even though we were in the highway, there was like a countryside, so we run in the in the middle of the trees and so on. So that's a cool thing I used to do. So yeah, more social life with them, I would say.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else?
Teacher.
There's just some echo.
I think that maybe we can connect that with um I think the most of us know what is better for our body, but we don't want to practice that because maybe we're lazy to do that, or maybe because it feels uncomfortable to our brain. So I think that's how I connect the habit with what we should do.
Yes, that is correct too. Okay, so we are going to move on to the next one. Les voy a preguntar en español. ¿Cuántos de los que están aquí solo porque tienen que llenar un formato? Porque yo creo que son muchos. Alcen la mano, no les dé vergüenza. Ok. Ok. Listo. Y de todos esos que me alzaron la mano, ¿no hablan inglés? Pueden decir sí, no. No les voy a decir nada. No muerdo. No. Ok. Si quieren dar la
No.
respuesta en español, la pueden dar en español. Pero volvemos a lo mismo. El estar en estas sesiones y desde la comunidad, siempre pedimos que los que se conecten participen, porque no podemos tener una sala de conversation club y que solo una o dos personas estén participando. Y es algo que hemos dicho mucho en estas sesiones. Entonces, porfa, si quieren intentar hablar algo en inglés o dar la respuesta en español, lo pueden hacer, pero en serio necesito que, porfa, participen porque es feo también como para los pocos que quieren participar. Okay. Let me find the other link here. So now we're going to work on a Mentimeter real quick. Let me find the link so I can share that with you. I'm going to send it through the chat. Those who raised their hands, los que levantaron la mano, ya la pueden bajar. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing here and continue to the next one. Okay, so I sent you guys the link to this Mentimeter. And the idea is for you to answer what small decision changed your life. Maybe working on a new habit, or maybe the advice from somebody else that you have been applying to your life. A small decision that changed your life. You can add that into the link. I don't know if you're able to participate as well. Let me go back. I forgot how to see the answers. Okay, now let me try here.
Voy a probarme el micrófono.
See results. Okay, so we have one, do something small every day to improve my learning, drink enough water. Okay, that's good. Definitely begin to learn English. Okay. Anybody else that wants to share a decision, a small decision? those who are here that don't speak English that well, una decisión pequeña que hayan implementado en sus vidas y les haya servido.
I will say that maybe start studying from in a virtual university because I think it developed in me more the autonomy and the discipline because you don't have anyone pushing you to study or to develop your assignments. You have to do it by yourself.
Okay, yes, it is very challenging. Okay, Wilmer, go ahead because I think JC forgot to. Yeah, let me see if I can do that. Okay, Wilmer, go ahead.
Okay, teacher, according to this question, a small decision changed my life. Simple is enjoying the nature, particularly for me, watching mountains, the view, towns, cities. In these moments, I really appreciate and enjoy the life, and this was enough to change my mind, my mentality, and become a person with a lot of peace in this case.
Okay, thank you. And I see we have a few more answers here. Somebody said, I always talk about starting a little simple English course. I started from zero and now here I am getting classes for the students at the school and joining C1 classes. Okay, that is great. Simple actions such as enjoying the nature. In my experience, watching mountains, towns, or enjoying halfway changed my mind. I've given up sweets so I can live a healthy life for my health. That is very difficult, but it is also good for your health. Okay, so thinking about those habits or those decisions that your classmates share, do you think that cultures value the same habits as we do or no? Or why do you think that could be? Let me go back to the presentation. This is a question. Do cultures value the same habits as we do? Even compared to the answers that you guys shared? Jason, go ahead.
I would say some of them yes and some of them not. For example, this habit of improving every day. No, teacher. I've seen people that they don't like even to try, or they don't even do something for their lives. They're like they are stuck in the same shell, in the same stuff always. So and yeah, they don't even try. So that's different for than me because I try and every day joining this class. It was a decision I took not by arrogance or not by pride. I took this class because I like it because I want to improve. Another value that I can see in other people that I don't see is that sometimes they compete with others. Even in the social media, when we post things about our lives, showing off or comparing ourselves to other people, that's another value that I don't share because I never compare myself with other people. Instead, what I do is admire and admire good things because I cannot admire that someone has a car because that's something material and I am not that kind of person. But for example, when I see these teachers that they control the class or see these teachers that they have a cool level and I admire them. Not that I compete, not that I want to be like better than them, but I want to like follow the same steps they did to become what they are. So that's a value sometimes people forget, and instead they envy, they compare, and so on. So, yep.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so let's move on into the next part of the session real quick. So I wanted to bring some useful expressions that you might be able to use, especially for those of you guys that mentioned that your English is not that good, so you can implement them. It's not mandatory, but it's just some ideas that in order to express opinions, you can start your sentence that way. And now, we're going to analyze these very short examples, and we're going to answer if it is important in your culture and why does it matter to you or somebody else's culture. So we have the actions of helping others, saying thank you and please, and punctuality. I believe these are very important in a lot of cultures, but I want to hear your thoughts.
Teacher, I have a
Diego,
question.
go ahead.
Yes. Teacher, about when you said based on my opinion, can I use in my background?
Yeah, I believe there's still some echo. Check something here. Done. Okay, Diego, I don't know if you want to try again or if somebody else wants to participate.
I will say that in Colombia we value helping others, and maybe in the most part of our country. But there's always this bad part that makes people think that no. But yeah, I will say that it depends most of the region or the person, but I will say so that here in Colombia we value helping others. The other day I was in other city and I asked for address, and the person that I asked um pay me pay for my taxi where I had to get. So it was very kind because I think we value that.
Okay, that was really nice. Thank you for
Yeah.
sharing that. Okay, Jason, what about you?
Well, something that I wanted to say about punctuality. Yeah, not to show off, but well, when I was at the school with my mentor teachers, I was told that they had another practitioner or another trainee teacher, and they told me that she sometimes didn't. I mean, she said, "Oh yeah, I will go to the school," and she didn't appear. Or like, "Oh yeah, I will be in 5 minutes," and 10, 15, 20, half an hour, and she wouldn't go. She wouldn't arrive. And yeah, I mean, punctuality is a responsibility not only with yourself, but with the time of others. I mean, imagine this. Imagine that you are a mentor teacher, you have your practitioner, and your practitioner tells you like, oh, tomorrow I will do the class, and you are relaxed. And surprise, she's not there, or he is not there. Uh, how 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 is my image, my reputation going to be if I do those kinds of things? And she eventually uh, received a job in a school, and the same, she didn't, she wouldn't go. So what happens? So in my case, at least one of my mentor teachers, this is not to show off, but maybe to show example and experience. Sometimes I arrive even 5, 10 minutes before, and if something happens, I tell them, "Hey, teacher, I'm not I'm not going because I'm sick or something. So not only punctuality, but also like the responsibility to tell your boss, your teacher, your students, like, oh, I cannot go because of this, or not justifying yourself, but at least telling them what's going on. So yeah, I really appreciate where people are punctual, and when I am punctual. So.
Yes, and even some countries are really strict about that. I have heard that Germany, they are very strict about punctuality as well. So I don't think we're the only ones. Okay, Wilmer, go ahead.
Okay, teacher, in this point, I will say, for example, this term refers to a bit exemplary citizen, yeah? For example, in this case, I would say this term refers to have, I don't know, good feelings, good mentality, good context, good point of view. And due to this, maybe thinking in a good context, yeah, in a good way to think in our community or society in this case. For example, I know that a lot of countries around the world use these terms to express themselves, yes, in this case, in a formal way, yeah. It's important for them taking care and giving an important advice all that all life, yeah. And these countries for me, I consider appreciate the advice from the other people. Yeah, it's important for the culture to each country, keeping in mind these terms, these snippets on the forums, on the internet, to sure in the majority of the cases, or I don't know, we are exemplary citizens. Yeah, simple verbs, simple verbs for the majority of the people um, can understand. Wow, he is a good person. He is polite, yeah, respectful. In these cases,
Yes.
the majority of the people in the communities, society, in this case, can use these terms to express a good feeling, a good mentality, or maybe in some cases, I've had some cases in my personal experience where this works when where I live, for example, or in my town, in the city, um, express a good mentality, and the person is relaxed, calm, a good feeling, a good mood, yeah. But in the minority of the cases, this when the people isn't used, isn't used, yeah, can express a bad feelings, yeah, a good, a bad context, a bad talks, yeah, because in some cases people can have negative talks about the people when I don't know, maybe they they are in a they are in a bad feeling, a bad context, or is thinking, they are thinking in this case. For me, it is important use daily these terms.
Yes, that is correct. Okay, and let's go with the last one, Laura.
Okay, for me, it's important is the Colombia, is the part that to respect can another responsibility, helping the creators communicate. This is very important. Is the different that people those as yes yeah, for me. Punctually is much clearer. Is important because it respects people's times. This year is important many cultural around or because her people is together in the positive way.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so now that we have discussed a little bit about that, it could be anybody that has not participated as well, or those who already participated. What is your perspective on what the other people mentioned here about those habits? What is your perspective? You can write it in the chat, you can open your mics. Just wanted to see what you guys think as well. If you agree or disagree with what they mentioned. Einer, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Well, I think I agree with them. Um, they talk about the importance for the culture, and I think it's because, for example, a society or culture, and its base is to help others, and maybe think about that is important for us and understand that we are not how I can say it, we are not alone, yeah, in our society, because I don't know. For example, I need someone to work and in something as community, and it's a benefit for us, so people can work together. So it's because the things that the people say before is well understood by people. So it's the basic principles of ethical and moral profile that we have. So I agree with them because those kind of thoughts can help society to improve and be better between us. We can um, have in mind all those things to be better each one.
Okay, okay, thank you. Okay, so now we're going to answer some questions, but there's going to be a challenge. Based on what you guys answer and what you guys have been able to think throughout the session with the video that we watch at the very beginning, you guys are going to compare at least two cultural perspectives and give a personal opinion, taking into account target expressions such as the sentence starters that I shared a few minutes ago. But we're going to answer some of the questions first. I'm going to write that in the chat so you guys have an idea of what the challenge is. And after we answer a few of them, we are jumping straight ahead to that challenge. Okay. So we're not going to start with the first one. We're actually going to start with this one. Can one conversation change everything? What do you guys think?
Yeah, teacher, for me, one conversation changes everything because I said it before. The way of express ourselves determine the point of view or the result of the conversation. Yeah. In this case, refers to be in a few words self-reflection according to the context. Yeah. The majority of the cases, okay, depends on the use the correct words, correct expressions, and due to this can determine the result, yeah, the conclusion of the moment of the experience. In this case, if we use the bad words, the incorrect words, inspirations, ideas, I don't know. In this case, can have a negative point of view in the person, yeah, where
Yes.
whose we are talking in this case, yeah. In this case, I consider each conversation must must keep in mind the aspects, details, the correct meaning in both language, yeah, in Spanish or in English. In this case, each conversation determines the result, analyze the context, analyze, for example, the the person who's who yeah who we are talking with in this case have a mentality, I don't know, a positive mentality about ourselves in this case. For me, each conversation, yeah, change everything and determine the correct result or incorrect result.
Okay, thank you. And Jason?
Hello, teacher.
Yes, I agree. And oh, I think he was first teacher. He spoke first, and after that I raised my hand. So,
Oh, I'm sorry. I tried to find a solution for my microphone to participate. Can you hear me?
Yes, Diego, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you so much. Sorry for the inconvenience. I tried to participate about that questions today, reading for everyone here. And for the question, can one conversation change everything? I agree with that because I'm working as a customer service advocate. And for example, when you go there in Taskas in daily pay to US, a few months ago, maybe 4 months. But for example, you are happy when you are attending the call, and the first call maybe people upset, angry, yelling on you, and that maybe change all of your day. But if you have empathy and sympathy, you can solve that in the same time because you need to be very kind and listen carefully about the issues because call center is very hard sometimes. But if you have um, that topics or use that, you can change your each other in the same concern.
Okay, yeah, that is a very good example. Customer service really faces a lot of that. The type of one conversation can change everything. So that was a good example. Thank you for that. And the next one. How do small habits shape the future? And then we'll go into our challenge. Who wants to share their answer?
I think maybe you can start with the four skills. Maybe you can start with podcasts. If you have issues or problems, maybe when you are sitting there, maybe talking with somebody else or people abroad here, and you start maybe with podcasts, easy podcasts to improve your listening skills because you know when you are there, many people in the United States is a multicultural population. And for example, I remember when I was talking with somebody else, the woman is from British London, and I use my American accent, and she speaking with your British accent, and she told me, "Hey, you know the alphabet?" You're what? Yes, because R O. She was pronouncing the letter R, la letra R, pero ella la
Uh-huh.
very different. I understand. Ella me dijo, "You are an idiot. No conoces ni el alfabeto." Y yo, "Oh my goodness." So people very upset all the time. But I repeated and listening carefully. I was patient there, listening her about the issue and the concerns, and I tried to find what's going on, figure out what's going on, and invest more deeply in that in my screen when I know the issue about us, I can resolve. But in the first call when she's talking, I need to speak with somebody else. Could you please transfer with the supervisor? Oh goodness, calm down in my mindset.
That is a very tough situation, and I have been through that, so that I feel you. Okay, so we don't have a lot of time left, so let's do our challenge real quick. As I mentioned in the chat, compare at least two cultural perspectives. It could be any country or maybe Japan, as we saw in the video, and give a personal opinion, taking into account target expressions.
I would compare maybe Asia with Colombia, but in a good way, because all the time people is like exalting or resulting highlighting a, Korea,
Yes.
but they maybe don't realize that there are a lot of people suffering yeah, emotional problems, and I think it's because we have to learn how to have a balance between pushing ourselves and discipline, and
Yes.
also be kind with us. So yeah, I always come to the same statement, and it is find a balance where you
Uh-huh.
can improve and also enjoy the process that you're and the goal that you're trying to get.
Okay, that is a very good comparison. Anybody else? Jason, go ahead.
Okay, in the same sense that she was comparing Korea and Asia with Colombia, I would say something. Well, they have a lot of discipline, they have a lot of respect, but as she
Mhm.
was saying, they have a lot of emotional problems. And something here in Colombia is that we are pretty relaxed. I
Yes.
mean, yeah. Um, oh, I don't know. I screw the for example, I screw the class in the school. I did something wrong, but I am like, oh, yeah, it could happen to anyone, so no worries. But what if that happens to an Asiatic? Oh my gosh, to an Asian. I'm sorry, I invented that new word. To an Asian,
Mhm.
they will be like, oh my God, I have lost the respect of my whole family and my whole country. And yeah, that happens a lot. When they get disappointed, they really get disappointed with themselves. But here we're like, next time we will do better. So yeah,
Yes.
that's my little comparison.
Okay, so those are actually very good ones. And Ingrid, what about you?
Hi. So, I would like to compare United States people with Colombians, because I think that in United States they are like more direct and they are very sometimes like a little bit rude. And here in Colombia we are more polite and kind. We ask permission for everything. We say thank you for everything. So, um, it can be like a little jarring when we talk to someone in the United States, because they are a little bit more direct than us.
Yes, I have noticed that too. Maybe because they're always like in a rush. I don't know
Yeah,
if maybe that's the case, but they are not really nice all the time.
yeah.
Okay, and Diego, what about you?
Yes, I couldn't agree more with Ingrid because when you are attending people from US, the people usually is very rude. If you don't understand, maybe when you listen your accent, they say, "Hey, you are Indian. Where are you from?" I need to speak with the supervisor. But if you start, for example, good reading and positive, hello, how can I help you today? Something related with the accent, imitating maybe shadowing technique in the first call, in the first, when you answer the call, you don't have about that type of the problems because if you are very kind, respectful, and you listen carefully, they will be more, how to say, kindness with you. But if you maybe are mumbling, tartamudeando, como así, ellos dicen, oh, where are you from? I need to speak with your supervisor right now, right away. And you say, hey, sir, I'm here. I'm trying to help you. And let me check more deeply. Or maybe you can say all the time, let me handle it for you. I know what the problem is, and I'm here to help you. With that, you will be more successful there.
Mhm. Yes, that is true. Okay, so we were able to share some very interesting cultural perspectives. So our time is over for this session. Thank you guys so much for joining, and to those who participated. Also to encourage you guys, if you're not able to speak English that well, to maybe join these sessions and participate. This is a really good opportunity. So I'll be sending you the attendance link through the chat, and have a good rest of your day and evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you too, teacher, for your time, and sorry for my microphone. See you guys. See
Thank
you home.
you. Bye. Thank you. Bye
Thanks, teacher.
bye.
Bye. Have a nice one.
Thank you. You too. Bye bye.